Today, Bryton is releasing their all-new Gardia Radar. It's a device that can quite literally save your life on the road by increasing your awareness of traffic as you bike. And we've had a ton of snow here in the greater Portland area, so I'd say that this is more of a first look at this device as opposed to a full review. But there's a lot to like here, as well as some reasons to be a little bit hesitant about this new device. So in this video, we'll go over all of that, as well as my overall thoughts and purchase recommendations when it comes to this $130 Bryton Gardia cycling radar device. Okay, real quickly, if you're not familiar with cycling radars, they typically work by adding a small device like this to the back of your bike facing the traffic that might be coming up faster than you or overtaking you out on the road. The radar itself is looking for any object that's going at a faster pace relative to you in the device, and then it'll determine its position relative to you and display that information on a cycling computer or a smartphone that you might have connected to the handlebars or in front of you on the bike. And if it goes on the bike, we've got to weigh it. This radar weighs in at 66 grams, which is pretty solid. Just for reference, the Varia 515 weighs about 71 grams. And yes, this cycling radar unit works with any cycling computer that is capable of displaying cycling radar information. In my case, that's the Wahoo Roam device, but it could also be the Garmin Edge devices, Hammerhead Karoo devices, or obviously a Bryton cycling computer. Now, what's interesting about this Gardia radar is that it can actually use a compatible cycling computer's ambient light sensor to actually determine the amount of light outside and then automatically change the light mode based on that information. And there are 6 different light modes. It's got a high solid, low solid, day flash, night flash, light off mode where it's just the lights turned off but the radar is still working, and then a group ride mode to be used within a group of cyclists just so that it's not flashing and annoying your fellow cyclists. And again, depending on the cycling computer that you have connected with it, you may be able to change those light modes directly on the cycling computer itself. And the Gardia radar will also turn itself into a sleeping mode when there's no motion detected for 10 minutes, and then any sort of motion at all will wake the device up again. And the Gardia can also detect traffic up to 190 meters behind you. It has a 220-degree viewing angle, and it'll automatically determine if traffic is moving moderately quick or dangerously quick. And that information is always passed on to the cycling computer. It's kind of often shown as either like yellow for a car passing or red, just warning you that, a car may be coming somewhat quickly. And these are the kinds of things that are based on that ANT Plus light network protocol. It's not stuff that's necessarily unique to this particular device, which means it's easily compatible with other devices on the market. And as long as everyone follows these agreed upon protocols, it all works. And I really like the mount for this particular product. It goes on the seat post under your bike seat, and it has 2 rubbery adapters to fit different seat post types. So it'll work with 27.2 or 30.9 or 31.6 seat post, both the D cross section seat posts or Aero cross section seat posts. Now, the battery life on the Gardia seems fairly normal to me, when you're comparing it to other devices on the market. But you can expect 17 hours in daylight flash mode or 12 hours in that solid mode. I typically don't ride any more than 12 hours, so this should get me there. And the Gardia can also auto dim its light when the battery is starting to get low. And then charging of this device is USB-C, which is nice. And then waterproofing, it's rated at IPX7, so it'll be fine in rain and sleet or snow or whatever you're out biking in. I don't know why you would, but it's not something that you would want to try to use underwater. If you're using underwater, you're doing something wrong here. But the application for the Bryton Gardia is actually pretty fantastic. You can change light modes. You can actually set the brake light to turn on or off. So basically, as you're braking, it'll use the accelerometer to determine that. It'll shine the backlight a little bit brighter just to let traffic know that you are braking. You can set alerts on the app. You can turn off and on sound notifications, change all the light modes right on the application, and you can actually use the app itself as a bike computer showing you where traffic is kind of in real time as you're biking if you don't have a cycling computer that's compatible. while I do like the application for this Gardia app, I can't help but wish that this application was just wrapped into one section of Bryton's other app. Bryton calls it their active app, just so that you wouldn't need two separate Bryton applications. Currently on my smartphone, I have one for the radar and then one for the Bryton computers that I use as well. Second thing that I found, slightly annoying about this particular unit, I have found that the Gardia wasn't as fast at picking up cars as some of the other radars that I've tested on this channel. It's kind of random. Most of the time it was perfectly fine, but on a number of occasions it did seem to pick up cars really late. Now this might have been due to the fact that the conditions that I was riding in were just absolutely horrific. I've been testing this radar in pretty rainy conditions. It's been fairly gross out. All the road grime just ends up kicking up off the back wheel and onto your back and right at the radar itself. And so obviously not perfect conditions to test this particular radar unit, but they're real life conditions here. And then if we look at competitive products on the market, obviously there's the Garmin Varia units. They actually have 3 different units of different sizes. The one that's most comparable is probably this 515. They also have a bigger one with a camera that costs more, and they also have a smaller one that doesn't have a light. But I think the 515 is the most comparable here, and I'm seeing that priced at about $200. So, again, would I pick the Bryton Gardia over the Garmin Varia? I'd say that'd come down to, your own personal budgeting, and I think that the Varia is a touch more reliable at recognizing cars. Again, I don't mind if a radar has a false positive, as in it tells me that there's a car there. There really isn't one. But what I really don't want to see is a radar telling me a false negative, as in it tells me that there's no car there, but there really is one. That's, it's really all about safety for me here, and that's a dangerous situation. I've also looked at the Magine L508 radar. Both of these radars cost about the same here, right at that $130 mark. I'll leave a link to my Magine radar review up here if you guys want to check that out. I've had pretty good luck with it. Again, I don't think it's quite as reliable as my Varia radars, but it is a good device. And it's good to see some competition in this cycling radar niche. Hopefully it encourages all of these companies to be more innovative with these products and a little bit better about their competitive pricing. But what do you guys think? Do you guys use a cycling radar when you go out riding on the roads? Is this one from Bryton something that you would consider? I just like hearing from you guys. I like hearing your thoughts, and I'm happy to continue this discussion down in the comments section. But either way, make sure you're getting out there, swimming, biking, running, rinsing, and repeating it all over again. And hopefully you're doing all of that safely. I do think radars can help with that, at least the biking part of it. But we'll see you guys in the next one.